Hello everyone, NinjaNick333. We have another round from our league challenge in East Greenbush, New York at Flipside Gaming. We've got my friend, I believe Tori is here on the left. Yes, that is Tori because he is playing his Let Loose Giratina GX marker instead of a V-Star marker. He is on the Gardevoir deck. He has been on this for quite a bit since rotation has happened. And we have Jose again on the right trying to earn redemption here with the Zoroark deck, the Zoroark box deck. He unfortunately was not able to show it off too well in the previous time that he was on. So let us see if he will be able to do something this time. The Zoroarks can attack for weakness on Gardevoir EX, which is a fun interaction. So we will have to see if that can make up the difference here. He also has quite a variety of one prize attackers. But he also has to evolve to attack with his Pokemon. So it's entirely possible that maybe he can just get out-tanked by a big Gardevoir, because the Zoroark with a... yeah, the Zoroark only does like 140 after weakness, so you would have to two-shot the Gardevoir. And I don't think Tori would want to leave it up 2 turns in a row, so... it's a really interesting matchup to be sure. So we do see the Zacian V is what Tori starts with going first, I believe here. He is going to Fog Crystal to get a Ralts onto his bench, and he's considering what he wants to discard for this Ultra Ball, if he wants to even do that at all. Looks like we are going to get rid of a Boss's Orders and the Sky Seal Stone. What do we want to get here? Probably another Ralts, either that, or we could get the Luminion if he's playing that. But it looks like we do go for the Ralts. We are going to attach for turn 2 the Zacian and then use Roar the Sword to get an additional energy onto play. So we are going to have a fully loaded up Zacian next turn. He will be able to attack for a knockout on the next turn. Giving Tori the upper hand here because Jose is still 1 turn away from being able to attack. So we do see that Jose does discard a Psychic and a Grass energy in order to Ultra Ball for another Ralts. He has 2 of those in play now, and he is going to Judge. So that will make Tori's hand a little bit different here. He did have a small hand size, so I'm not sure if that's the exact supporter Jose wants to be using right now. But if you don't have research, you don't have research. You got to play whatever draw supporter you have in order to make sure that you are set up. Even if it can potentially benefit your opponent, if you are not set up and you need to get more set up, you have to make sure that you can get yourself into a better hand in order to do that. Because you cannot play the game if you are not set up. So both players redraw 4 here. And Tori's hand is pretty decent still. He's got a Radiant Greninja. He's got a Curlia. So he can draw into potentially 4 more cards. He still needs a Psychic Energy in hand in order to use the concealed cards. But he could always draw into one of those for his draw for turn or with the Curlia. So that's not bad. We do see a Nest Ball here is going to get the Radiant Jirachi, I believe that is. It's a little hard to tell because of the glare. I do apologize, but I do believe that is the... yes, that is the Radiant Jirachi. Awesome. So we can actually see Jose could, if he had a switching card, he could actually switch into the Radiant Jirachi, attach the double turbo, and flip double heads to just knock out the Zacian. And of course, somebody comes over and completely stomps on my tripod. I don't know how you can see a tripod there and just immediately walk straight through it, but people do it all the time, and I think it's really inconsiderate. We see Tori Ultra Balls here yet again. Actually going to get rid of a Shining Arcana Gardevoir and the Radiant Greninja. I'm very surprised by that there. Looks like we are going to get the Curlia. I guess maybe he didn't have the Curlia in hand. Maybe it was the Shining Arcana Gardevoir, and I just misread what was in his hand there. Because I don't see why else you would Ultra Ball here. Unless maybe he did have 1 Curlia and he would just rather get the 2 Curlia out and see if he can just draw it into something better since he has such a weak hand. Maybe to see if he can draw into a Research. I guess that would be fine. Yeah, that would be good. I'm not sure if that's worth getting rid of the Radiant Greninja though. Yeah, he does have a Curlia in hand. So we are going to evolve to that. We're going to use the first ability. We're going to discard our Collapse Stadium to draw 2. We do get the Psychic Energy, so again, would have liked to see the keep on that Radiant Greninja if that was possible, because we would have been able to use concealed cards there. But we do draw into a Judge, so we will be able to use that here. We do attach Return to the Zacian just to guarantee that we have the attack this turn. We do want to be the first person to be able to take prize cards here. It would have been really great if Jose was able to start the Radiant Jirachi, but of course that is a one-of in the deck. For those who don't know what Radiant Jirachi does, it does have an attack where it says flip 2 coins. If both are heads, your opponent's active is knocked out. So as I said before, that would have been great to be able to use on the Zacian, but also it has an ability that says when it is knocked out, you get to search your deck for any 3 cards. So that would really help Jose set up here. So we are going to see the Kirlia discards the, I believe, a Psychic Energy to draw 2 more cards, and we are going to Level Ball here as well. We draw off of that. We will be able to get another Ralts in play. So we are going to be all set up being able to get some Gardevoirs into play on the next turn, but we pretty much have everything that we need if we're Tori here now. We have a +4 draws in those Kirlias, and we have a Zacian that will likely not be knocked out next turn. We'll be able to take a couple of prize cards while we're still sitting up on the bench. And that is one of the strengths of the Zacian, that one Roar of the Sword can really get you to a point where you can just, against other single prize decks, especially Lost Box, you can just start taking prize cards before they can sometimes. And that really helps you swing the matchup into your favor, even if you are not favored there. So I think what Tori was going for previously, so we saw he took 1 prize card and it was that Luminion. I think he Ultra Balled away the Radiant Greninja looking for the Luminion, not having checked his prize cards on his first deck search, not realized that it was not in his deck. And it looks like, unfortunately, Jose does go for the Radiant Jirachi attack and flips double tails. If he was able to flip double heads there, that would have been absolutely huge, and it would have put him ahead in the game. He does have at least 1 Kirlia set up now, though, so he is able to start drawing into some of his Pokemon that he needs. He can discard some different stage 1s so that his Zoroark can transform into them with a Phantom Transformation ability. We do see the Flapple is in the discard pile. We could always see that Slowbro come out and win the game when your opponent has 1 prize card as well, which is always a fun thing to do. So we are going to see the Refinement is going to discard another Psychic Energy to draw 2. And we have a pretty good hand here now. So looks like we're going to discard the Nest Ball with the next Refinement. We're going to draw another 2. We do get a Rare Candy and a Level Ball. I don't think we have a Gardevoir in hand right now, but it would be really great because then you could leave those Kirlias in play to be draw options. And he has to read the Flapple. I do have to remember what that does, too. I know that Flapple is really good. I just don't know if it's good in this matchup. Evolving Skies Flapple. 50 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play with an ability. So that is actually huge. That can hit for 150 at the moment. So that is not bad. Does not do quite enough right now, but it could do a lot in a future turn. So we are going to see the knockout on the Radiant Jirachi. It does allow Jose here to be able to look through his deck and grab any 3 cards he wants. So he will likely want to get maybe a Zoroark set up, maybe grab an attacker that he can transform the Zoroark into. Looks like maybe he already has a Zoroark in hand, so that is fine there. He's going to grab a Research. That's really good. That can discard some of those stage 1s into the discard pile for you, as well as draw yourself 7 cards. And then with a couple of Kirlias, that 7 becomes 9 and then 11. All of a sudden, you just see so many cards off of the top of your deck. So now that he's grabbed what he needed, he can promote his Zorua and draw for turn. So he does evolve to the Kirlia, evolves to the Zoroark. And I think you're fine to just research here. Oh no, it looks like he's level balling first. I think he did draw a second research for turn, I want to say. That Raichu is really good against Lugia. You can one-shot them since it does do extra damage if your opponent has used their V-Star power for the game, and it does hit for lightning weakness. Unfortunately, not super good in this matchup because the only way that Tori can use a V-Star power is by using the Sky Seal Stone, and Jose does not play any Pokemon V-Star or V-Max, so there was no reason for Tori to ever put the Sky Seal Stone even into play or even be able to use it. I mean, I guess he could use it, but he wouldn't gain any benefit from it. So you would just be putting yourself in a bad position. So we're going to see the Zoroark does transform into the Flapple. Looks like that is the best attacker he has here at the moment. He wants to make sure that he doesn't just waste this energy by discarding it here. So I don't blame him for going into the Flapple right now, but it doesn't really feel good. But Jose, as long as he is able to chain together some more stronger attacks in these next future few turns, he might actually be able to pull it ahead because he can just knock out a Zacian and then maybe a Gardevoir EX on the next turn. That puts him up 4 prize cards, and then Tori could go to 1 prize card remaining, and then you win off the Slowbro. So there is a world where Jose can definitely pull this back. But looks like he does double Nest Ball and fail both of them, which is really rough to see here. So we're going to use Refinement, discard, draw 2. Getting rid of that Battle VIP Pass. That's useless after the first turn, so you might as well get rid of that. We are going to Choice Belt as well. And that does not knock out, but that does do a lot of damage. That does 150, 50 for every Pokemon with an ability that your opponent has in play, plus an extra 30. So that is 180. It would be really great if there was a stage 1 that Jose could evolve into that does something along the lines of bench damage, so that then that way he could maybe boss his orders up a Ralts or Kirlia, knock that out while knocking out the Zacian at the same time. I'm not sure if there's a card like that in format. If there is, please let me know, because that would be pretty sweet. So Tori is just going to use his refinements again, has this huge stacked hand now. He's going to use a level ball, mostly just to thin his deck at this point. There isn't any more Pokemon that he really needs. He could always get another Ralts if there was one in deck to bench it, but you don't need that. So at this point, you might as well just grab that Mew out of your deck and put it into your hand. You could always discard that with another refinement in the future, but it looks like Tori's just going to fail it. He's choosing not to get that Mew out of the deck. I kind of disagree with that. I think you just get that out now so that you don't draw into it. Make your other draws, your other refinements a lot more live. And Tori is about to take a 3rd prize card with the same one Zacian. So by putting that Zacian down turn 1 and using Roar the Sword, making it so you never have to use a Gardevoir EX to put damage on the Zacian in order to get it set up is really what's putting Tori in a good position here. And also, I think that Judge from Jose being his best draw supporter on that first turn was a little unfortunate as well. If he had a research here, I think that this would be a lot more in his favor. So we are going to promote another Zoro. We could always evolve that into another Zoroark. We are going to Ultra Ball here, probably to grab that Zoroark. If we have a double turbo energy in hand, we wouldn't even have to Phantom Transform, which would be kind of funny. You could just finish it off with the Night Days attack. You would do 70 minus 20 for the double turbo would be 50, would be enough to take the knockout. There is only 40 HP left on that Zacian. So if you could maybe, just have double turbo and Judge here, that could actually be really good. Because then you cut off Tori's ability to potentially have a Gardevoir EX in hand. He does have the double Kirlia, which is a little scary, but looks like we are going to Phantom Transform into the Flapple yet again. We likely just have a 1 energy card in hand, or are likely just going to draw into 1 energy card. And another thing that really makes this deck a lot weaker after rotation is you did lose Ordinary Rod, which was a huge card in order to be able to recycle your Pokemon. You can always play Miriam now, which will put a lot of Pokemon back in, but I think that this deck is going to gain a lot more power in the next set when we get the Super Rod back. Super Rod is a card that we had quite a while ago. It allows you to shuffle up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy from your discard back into your deck. So being kind of like Miriam, but being an item makes it pretty good. So we are going to see a refinement here, getting rid of the Battle VIP Pass. We do have the Grass Energy for turn here. And what is that? Oh, is that a Wormadam? I do believe that the Wormadam does... It's kind of like the Vespiquen of old, where it does extra damage based on the amount of Pokemon in your discard pile. So that is actually a pretty good inclusion in this deck, since you are always discarding quite a lot of Pokemon, and you can always Phantom Transform into it. I did see that he was playing the Fighting-type Wormadam in this deck, but I did not realize that that Grass Pokemon was the Grass-type Wormadam as well. But that is pretty good. There are Pokemon in this format that are Grass weak, like Tyranitar V, so that would be an easy way to one-shot something like that. So we do see another level ball from Tori. He is choosing to grab the Mew this time. He's going to put that into his hand. Honestly, you might just be free to research this hand away even. Wouldn't be that bad. Just to try to draw into your... Yeah, and he's going to do it. I think that I would have put the Zacian in play personally, but you definitely didn't need to. You're just looking for that Gardevoir. So the big research plus triple refinement Kirlia is definitely going to guarantee you at this point. So we are going to refinement away a level ball to draw 2. And we still have 2 more refinements available to us should we want to do that. So it looks like he's considering attaching for turn. I think Flapple has few enough HP to where you could actually knock it out just with the second attack of the Cresselia too. But I think you would rather knock it out with the first attack if you could. Just put energies on your benched Pokemon and then heal it all off so that it makes it harder for Tori to be able to, or for Jose rather, to be able to take the knockout on anything, especially since there are now, again, 3 Pokemon in play with abilities so that Flapple does 150. You can limit that damage output, because if you are to put an energy on your own Gardevoir after it hits twice with the Flapple, that could always knock you out. But I think at this point, too, you are at 2 prize cards remaining. I think it's asking a lot from Jose to be able to set up at this point, especially since he now no longer has any Zorua or Zoroarks in play. It was just very unfortunate. I think maybe he prized too many of them, and that's why he wasn't able to get them out super early. He was only able to really get 2 into play, and we saw that double nest ball fail. So we do see there are going to be, it looks like 3 Zorua and 2 Zoroark being shuffled back into the deck with Miriam. Yep, that is it. So we are going to do that. So that'll put those back in. But it's going to take him 1 turn to get the Zoruas down and then evolve into them. So that's going to give Tori the ability to take 1 more prize card. And I do believe he's only at 2 remaining. So you would have to win the game off your next Zoroark. And can you really take 4 prize cards with that? So Jose's just had some really unfortunate draws here. It is a very rogue deck, and that's kind of what is to be expected out of a deck like this. But it would have been really cool to see how this does have... It really does feel like this has a 50-50 matchup against Gardevoir. It's just whoever sets up first. I mean, they are both playing Kirlia lines to draw cards. Yeah, so Kirlia may discard that. Oh yeah, he has to draw the 3 for Miriam still. And then you can discard the Slowbro with Kirlia to draw 2 more cards. And now that's in your discard pile to be able to be transformed into at some point. Unfortunately, there is nothing that he can, like, boss up on the bench even. Even though he used the Miriam, if he was able to play boss, there's nothing he could boss up to potentially stall a turn or 2. And he has a ton of cards in hand at this point, and this is what Jose would have liked to have seen much earlier in the game. Is a hand like this, where he just has so many options. He's got pretty much all of his remaining alternate attackers in his hand. Yeah, there's the Appleton. I think he also has a Braixen in hand as well, because I do see a fire Pokemon. Yeah, and Jose like has 6 cards or something left in deck. And 4 prize cards remaining. So again, at this point, there is... If this was best 2 out of 3, Jose definitely would have scooped to save time to go into Game 3, but of course this is a best-of-1 format tournament until the finals. Because again, this is both a League Challenge and a Win-A-Box, so we get the results for the League Challenge at the end of Swiss, but then they take the top 8 players from Swiss and do a single elimination bracket Win-A-Box tournament. But it looks like Jose just says, alright, yep, there's no point in even playing this out anymore, I'm just going to scoop. And the win does go to Tori. So yeah, just again, very unfortunate draws from Jose's side, and really, really stellar draws on Tori's side. And Tori did play that turn 1 really well by making sure he had that Zacian set up. And that is it, guys. As always, do not forget to do the things said above there, the comment, like, and subscribe, and all that good jazz, because that helps the YouTube algorithm help promote these videos to other people so the channel can keep growing, so that I can keep making awesome videos like this. And we will see you guys next time.